Welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking Transformers and we're talking Bumblebee the movie. Now before I get started with this video, I just want to let you know there will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film already, what are you doing? If you're a Transformers fan, I'd urge you to go and check out Bumblebee just so you can make up your own opinion whether or not it differs to the Bayverse, and there's no better way to do that than by seeing it yourself. But this video does contain spoilers, so you have been warned. Now before we get into the contents of this video, I want to make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you stay up to date with all my Transformers content. Now in my previous video, we talked about Bumblebee and whether or not it will be a financial success. And we know that's a massive importance to Hasbro and Paramount because Lorenzo de Bonaventura has made it clear that if Bumblebee is not a financial success, his vision, and I use that word sparingly, vision will not be taken forward. Whether or not he's got a vision is another story. But that's what Lorenzo de Bonaventura said, so it's massively important for the future of Transformers films on the big screen that Bumblebee does perform. Now, at the box office in December, Bumblebee started off slow, and that could have been the congestion from a December release because we had Aquaman and Mary Poppins released at the same time. But now we're in January and the movie has been out for around about a month, and the budget for this film, Bumblebee, was $135 million, and I can now tell you that at the box office, Bumblebee has grossed $412.3 million. That means that Bumblebee is a financial and critical success. Wow, for a Transformers film, that is massive. In fact, it's unheard of. And with this success, we will now get more Transformers films in the future. And whether or not Lorenzo de Bonaventura and his vision is right for Transformers, only time will tell. But as long as we've got talented directors like Travis Knight willing to pick up the franchise, it should be in safe hands. So let's look towards that future and where Bumblebee left us, because it seemed like Bumblebee was going to go off with a new adventure with Optimus Prime, which means he would be leaving Hailee Steinfeld's character Charlie Watson. What does that mean? Is that the right vision? And also with the talks of a second Bumblebee movie, who will be the new companion of Bumblebee? Should there be one? Or should Hailee Steinfeld return? Now the reason why I say that is because if we look at why Bumblebee was so successful, many of the critics have flagged up that Hailee Steinfeld's portrayal of Charlie Watson is a massive reason why. And I also think that Hailee Steinfeld pulled in a lot of her fans to come and see a Transformers film. So with that being the case, it seems like it would be the right move to bring Hailee Steinfeld's character back, although the scene with her and Bumblebee on the Golden Gate Bridge looked like it was all but over. Charlie Watson would go on with her life and Bee would join the Autobots. But is it that clean cut? Because I'm going to put a scenario to you guys which would bring Hailee Steinfeld's character back. And if let's just say Hailee Steinfeld didn't return to the franchise, who do you think would fill her boots? Who would be a suitable replacement? We've seen Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky, we've seen Hailee Steinfeld as Charlie Watson. Who would be the next companion for Bumblebee? Let me know in the comments section below. But let's just talk about if we was going to bring Hailee Steinfeld's character back. How would that work with the story of Bumblebee? Well, I have an idea. Now the final battle scene of Bumblebee takes place at a nearby tower where the Decepticons Shatter and Dropkick are trying to use a radio tower to send a signal to the Decepticons to tell them of their location and bring the Decepticons down to Earth so they can hunt Bumblebee and what it seems like Optimus Prime. Now, from that scene, we took away that the signal never got sent to the Decepticons because the actual device that Shatter and Dropkick were using dropped off the radio tower. So with that being the case, it looked like Bumblebee had saved the day. But what if he didn't? Now the device had a countdown on it, but we never saw that device get destroyed. So maybe they could play into that for a Bumblebee sequel, with the fact that actually the signal did get sent, but the Decepticons are now planning their next move. They're planning their descent down to Earth. And that signal sent back the location of Shatter and Dropkick, of Optimus Prime, and of Bumblebee. And it also sent more information about who Bumblebee was hanging around with. One person being Hailee Steinfeld, Charlie Watson. That could then kickstart the Bumblebee sequel, with the Decepticons coming after Hailee Steinfeld and looking to capture her, which would bring Bumblebee, and not just Bumblebee, Optimus Prime into the fold to have to come and help Hailee Steinfeld's character. So if you wanted to continue on with Charlie Watson and her portrayal in Bumblebee and in a Transformers franchise, you could do it by focusing on what happened with that radio tower. Now I'm not saying that they have to do that, but I do think that would have made a really great end credit scene too, that you went back to the tower and you see that device sitting on top of it and then the signal got sent. I think that would have been a great way to do it, but we know with the way that this movie was worked upon in production that potentially this movie was just going to be a prequel. Then it kind of transformed into a reboot, and Bumblebee was still not quite, you know, positive that it was going to be a financial success, so Paramount, you know, played their cards close to their chest. That's why I don't think we got an end credit scene, because I did actually hang around to the end of the movie in the cinema to see if we would get anything, but we didn't. But I think that would have been the perfect way to do it, to summon the Decepticons down, that the signal did get sent even though Shatter and Dropkick are no more. But what do you think about it? And what would you want to do with the franchise? What would you do for a Bumblebee 2? Would you like to see Hailee Steinfeld return? I think that her character was so pivotal with the success of this movie that it would seem mad not to bring her back. But, you know, we've seen this before where someone does a stellar job in a film and they don't make a return. But I'd like to think that Hailee Steinfeld had so much fun making this movie, working with Travis Knight, that the relationship is there to make it continue. So that's what I hope. But if they don't go there, then who would be next best to suit a Bumblebee film and be a companion of Bumblebee? And what would the story be? Because you don't want to repeat yourself. You don't really want to then have, you know, him just, you know, be with another human in which he's trying to save the day. Why not just build upon the relationship which you created in Bumblebee 1 to build to Bumblebee 2 if you're going to go down there? Because ultimately it's going to be a similar type of story, and you don't have to go through any sort of you know, backstory then to tell the story of that human, because we already know the backstory of Charlie Watson. We don't need to go there anymore, so we can kind of get stuck in to the goodness of the film from the offset. If you're going to have him find someone new, you have to tell that backstory once again, which is something that I don't really think is necessary. But it might be refreshing to see someone different. And also you have to bear in mind now that if we are going to continue on from Bumblebee 1, that Prime and the other Autobots are on Earth. So it's not just going to be a straight up Bumblebee movie unless he has to leave the Autobots to come back. And again, that ties very nicely into the signal being sent, and that he needs to go and rescue Hailee Steinfeld's character, because then you could tie in with that the Decepticons are doing, you know, come down to Earth, they cause destruction on Earth. Optimus Prime and the Autobots are going to defend that, but this core part of this movie, the second Bumblebee film, again focuses on Bee's journey, so he maybe comes away from the Autobots and his focus is on saving Hailee Steinfeld. So again, you could do that, and I'd see that Travis Knight's vision would be much more focused on Bee than it would be the other Autobots, unless they're going to open it up to allow Travis Knight to make a bigger Transformers film, and I'd assume the budget would be bigger too, because again, this was a success, so why not put a little bit more money into this? We saw that before with Bay's verse, now we should see it with Travis Knight's universe. So I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. What do you think would work for a Bumblebee 2? I think they could do something with the radio tower. I think they could do something with Hailee Steinfeld again. And I think that would be a massive loss if she didn't return to the franchise, because like I said, I feel she was a very important part of this movie being a success. So get involved in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you've got that notification bell turned on, because we're going to have plenty of Transformers details to talk about in the coming weeks, particularly with the fact now that we know that Bumblebee is a financial success. It's great news, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. And let's hope Lorenzo de Bonaventura gets his you-know-what together and make sure that this does develop into a live-action universe and just not random Transformers films. So I guess all that's left to be said is get involved, and please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.